Come on in the room. Come on in the room. The Bucks were back in action. Summer League action. They lose it to the Chicago Bulls 96-89. Come on in the room. Let's talk about it right here in the Cream City crossover. It's the Guru Trey Crosby III.
Chris King.
Yeah, man. So again, this is the Bucks Summer League back at it. Game 1. And the Bucks don't have enough to compete with the Chicago Bulls. Just falling short. They lose by 7 in regulation out in Las Vegas. Did get some performances. Let's talk about him. Marjon Beauchamp, the high man for the Bucks, 22, 5 boards, 5 assists, 4 steals. That was good. A block from him. But how about A.J. Johnson? 13 points, the rookie. 13 points, 4 boards, 3 assists. He was 5 of 15, 2 of 9 from 3. But we'll talk about that. Chris Livingston with 11 points, 8 boards. Andre Jackson Jr., 6 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. And Tyler Smith, 12.6 rebounds. And maybe Ryan Rollins surprised you as well, giving you 11, 4, and 4. Some really good performances from the Bucks individually. Collectively, I'll talk about collectively as a group for a second. The Bucks team as a collective, I would say a little helter-skelter, a little bit rushed. They're very fast, youthful, energetic, running all over the gym. The issue is, number one, they're big. I'm not even going to say his name. 27, Baji, trash. Put him on trash list. That boy stinks. I wish I had 2 extra hands. I give him 4 thumbs down. That boy is bad. But again, so the Bucks, it's a weirdly constructed summer league roster because you have a group that can't shoot that well. They're very run and jump. They're kind of fast. And then they can get ahead of themselves, turn the ball over, and then they don't really have any bigs to counteract anything, which I think hurt them a bit as well. So Chicago was a little more well-rounded, shot the ball a little better, got to the rebound, got rebounds, got to the foul line because the Bucks were a little undersized and maybe fouled a little bit too much too. But again, if you go to the individual performances, that's what you want to see from Marjon Beauchamp, right? He's back in the summer league, 3rd year in the summer league. Well, if you're gonna be there, I want to see you give me 22, 5, and 5. He had 15 points in the 3rd quarter. He was electric, really good. A.J. Johnson, and I'm gonna ask you this, Chris King. Are apologies warranted for one Jon Horst? Because I'm just looking at A.J. Johnson. I did not know. Here's what was surprised me the most about A.J. Johnson. Again, he didn't shoot the ball very well. Again, 13 points on 15 shots, but he was energetic. He was fast as advertised. He got to the rim. He scored a little bit at the rim. Yeah, I think he took probably 2 or 3 too many threes. But I get it. Summer league, you're not playing with the best of talent around you. But I did not realize he could handle the ball as well as he did. He got his pocket picked once. There a couple times he had some ill-advised passes. But I just was not ready for him to handle the ball as the de facto point guard for the entire 25 minutes that he played. He looked really good. Handling the basketball, getting to his spots. He got himself open. He just didn't hit shots. So, that was surprising to me. And again, just the quickness. You see what Jon Horst was looking for when he drafted him. And then I do want to talk for a second about a couple more guys. Andre Jackson Jr., to me, again, 6 points, 6 boards, 4 assists. His game just is not – it's not meant for summer league. And when I say that, I mean his game is not meant to be in a scenario or an environment where he's got to be a legit offensive creator and shot maker. Like, he needs to be on the floor. He needs to be on the floor with 4 guys that can score around him, and where you're not asking him to do things with the basketball. And that's the problem when you get in the summer league issue, is the guys aren't as good around him. You're asking him to do too much with the basketball. And again, his game is defense. His game is hustle plays. His game is rebounding. All of the intangibles. And in the summer league environment, it's kind of tough for all those to come out. And then you look at Tyler Smith. Again, he shot the ball very well, 12.6 boards. I want to see him a little more, even more aggressive. He did take 10 shots, 2 or 6 from 3. I want to see him even more aggressive on the boards, getting to the basket, those type of things. But I was impressed by the Bucks rookies. I was not impressed by the big, that Baji kid. And again, my question on Chris Livingston is like, what is he actually doing? But Marjon was good. Individual performance is good. It didn't come together as a collective. That's what I saw. Chris, what'd you say?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a very sloppy basketball game by both sides, really. But from the Bucks, it was really sloppy in terms of just unforced errors. I think a lot of times we were just trying to be too conservative with the ball, and then it ended up being turnovers. A.J. Johnson, I was really impressed with the way he handled the ball, but when he got his pocket picked, I felt like sometimes he just wasn't going anywhere with the ball. He was trying to do too much, but it was good to see that he does have a handle. And then another thing from A.J. Johnson is that I didn't expect his game to be so mature already. Like, I thought, as a project, grabbing this guy from the NBL who didn't average many points, didn't average many stats, any minutes, I thought he would still have some raw things to his game, which he might have a little bit, but in terms of like making turnovers and then, when they score the ball, he was right back out there. He was right back out in the break. He was right back pushing the pace. So I like to see that, especially if this is a guy we're going to have learning behind Dame. I was so impressed with his athleticism, the fact that he was probably the most athletic guy on the floor throughout the whole night. Just in transition, on the defensive end, he was the first one out there. Had a couple of dunks that he probably could have flushed, and they just didn't go in. But really like to see him flying high. And like you said, Trey, I'll give Horst props because I do think he saw something in the combine that none of us were really able to see or able to catch, and he got him. And so I was happy with A.J. Johnson. Obviously could have shot the ball better. 5 of 15 is not great. Just 2 of 9 from 3 is pretty bad. But hopefully that'll come. If that's the only thing we're looking for to make him be a better player and maybe some strength, then I think we've got a good project in him. Tyler Smith, man. I saw he compared himself to Chris Bosh, and I could see it, man. Like, he's really smooth jumper, that lefty shot that he can make from the 3, he can make from the mid-range. It would have been nice to see him just be a little more aggressive on the boards, but I feel like that'll come. I think that'll come with just more experience and playing more. Andre Jackson Jr., yeah, I think you're right. I think we all know what he can bring. Just the offense is just isn't all the way there yet. I think, creating for himself is not something in his game, and it may never be, but we know that he can bring these offensive putbacks like he had right before half. We know that he can get those offensive rebounds, put back some floaters and stuff like that. So really, really encouraged by some of that stuff as well. And then Marjon, yeah, this is – time's ticking. We just saw AJ Green not be on this roster, and they're around the same timeline. So for him to be a first-round pick and still be out there in Summer League, you better put up 20-plus points, and you better do it consistently. Like these next couple of games, I better see that, and then if so, then you think about sitting him. So overall, I think just a very lackluster performance from the group, but some good things individually.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned consistently the Bucks playing again tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who also lost in their first summer league contest. But yeah, you want to see them build on this performance, which you don't want to see from Marjon, which you saw last year, where he has a nice performance, swing some points, and then you come back with the dud, and that's what you don't want to see. You want to build on those performances. You mentioned AJ Green, a guy, and so many AJs on this team. You mentioned AJ Green, a guy that, again, didn't need to come back to Summer League because he figured he's going to be a rotational player. You want to see a Marjon Beauchamp get himself into that rotation, not have to worry about competing for time with Pat Connaughton and those types, and really find himself. And again, I think that's some of what you saw. And you talked about it. I want to see you dominate Summer League. Like I remember, I go back, I remember John Henson, and John Henson was never a dominant player in the NBA. He was a decent, at times, rotational big. But John Henson, I remember he went to something, I believe he was a Summer League MVP one year. I think 2015, something like that. Like he went down there and looked like the legit best big man in Las Vegas. And that's what Marjon Beauchamp should try to be, the legitimate, the best wing, or one of the best wings out in Vegas. He has the ability to do it. He's got to go show himself and go do that. Let me ask you this. Are you apologizing to Jon Horst? You gave Jon Horst some props. I'm asking, are you going to give a full-out apology to Jon Horst for some of the things that were said? We didn't, like you said, we didn't know what he was doing when he made the draft pick. Terrence Shannon Jr. was out there. But I can't tell you that I'm not super impressed by what I saw with A.J. Johnson.
I'm very impressed, but I'm not giving him any apology right now because I saw what Terrence Shannon did in his debut. He went for 25 on one less shot than A.J. Johnson. So he was very efficient in his debut. So it's not so much the fact that I think A.J. Johnson was a bad pick. I just think you passed up on the right pick, which could play out differently. Look, I said this on the radio earlier. You got to take everything in Summer League with a grain of salt. This is not NBA. This is G League guys. This is college guys who are fighting for spots on NBA teams. So, I'm not going to look into too much of Terrence Shannon Jr.'s performances. Neither am I going to look into too much AJ Johnson's performances and compare the two. I think I would like to see some consistency, maybe a couple more shots fall from AJ Johnson. But overall, look, I was impressed with the pick and with the way he played today, with just what we had to go off of from his stats in the NBL to what I just saw today is just miles different. So I can say at least I'm pretty happy with the vision that Jon Horst has.
Put the ball in his hand. He makes some things happen. One last question before we get out of here. The Bucks play again tomorrow against the Cleveland Cavaliers, like we talked about. What are you looking forward to seeing tomorrow from the guys to build on, and maybe some surprises as well?
Yeah, I really liked Ryan Rollins. I liked what he did. I think he knocked down open shots, and this is also a guy who he was able to learn from Steph, got drafted by the Golden State Warriors, then, had his incident, but I think he has a very mature game as well. I think he can handle the ball, take care of the ball, only one turnover, and he can score it. And I think you might want to give him a look at, some of that second unit minutes that Ty Washington was getting. I think Ryan Rollins outperformed Ty today. And then outside of that, look, if there are consistent performances from maybe Marjon, maybe Andre Jackson Jr., maybe you do think about sitting some of those guys and resting them and making sure they don't get hurt, because we saw what happened with Deron Holmes last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Torn Achilles for Deron Holmes, a potential Bucks pick. The Denver Nuggets came and jumped in front of us and got him. And again, he tears his Achilles, so he's out for the year. Tough breaks for Deron Holmes. Rest up, prayers up, get better. Again, the Bucks play tomorrow. We'll be remiss without talking about it. Since we're here, on the heels as this game literally was ending, time was running out. Twitter's going crazy, and I mean, I'm looking, and I see the first thing I saw was like Donald Trump escorted out of a rally. I'm like, okay. Then I look at the video. You see, oh no, okay, there were shots out because I remember Donald Trump. I remember before, like it was like last year, or not last year, but the last time he was running, somebody tried to rush the stage. They got him off the stage or whatever. I'm thinking of something like that. Then he was just ducking. Okay. Then you look at the video, you hear the sound with it. Oh, he was being shot at. Then you see him grabbing his ear, and it's like, oh, did somebody actually hit him? And then you see the blood splat. So again, I don't know if the reports have been confirmed. It looks like I'm not sure right now if it's been confirmed that he was shot. It looks like a bullet may have grazed his ear. I have no idea. But again, you never see stuff like that. But it's crazy what this world has gotten into. And again, I mentioned it on the heels of the Republican National Convention coming to Milwaukee next week. Make sure everybody stays safe. But I mean that was just. That was insane to see at a rally where, I mean, everybody's ducking, and I don't know. Give me your first thoughts and impressions there. Donald Trump getting with the look, and it looks like I don't know what happened. It looked like a bullet or something grazed past his ear. And again, I will say he had the money shot. He had a great picture, putting his hand, a fist in the air. It was a money shot. Like I am envisioning that picture, Donald Trump bloodied on stage, fist in the air. He's going to get put that on the campaign posters, on online kind of stuff, and get yourself some donations if you're gonna, as he stays in this race to be the president in 2024.
Man, he's gonna be in the history books, right? Like this is insane on the back end of a terrible Bucks game. Yeah, the way I look at it is, man, it should never be this serious. I don't think that, we should be trying to take people's lives over this whole thing. Even though it is a very important race, I just think that it shouldn't come to this. We were about a couple inches from your shirt being running mates, Dame and Giannis in 2024. But yeah, man, it was really shocking to see, and hopefully everybody's okay in the crowd, and it looks like Donald J. Trump is okay.
Yeah, it looks like, and yeah, like I said, you mentioned, man, it should never be this serious, and he is a divisive figure, but you don't want to see stuff like that. And yeah, it was crazy because a couple inches in a different direction, and we're having a very different conversation right now about Donald J. Trump, the former president. Right? Because well, like I said, this is going to dominate headlines for for a while at least. Even just grazing him, and if that had gone the other way, that would. I mean, literally, I don't know. That would be insane. But yeah, it looked like an assassination attempt against Donald J. Trump. I don't know. We'll see. More details are coming out. I don't know. By the time you see this, there may have been more details. So I'm telling you, we are recording this. It is about, I'm telling you now, we're recording this. It's about 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. The last update I saw was sometime around 6:30, 6:40 before we got on and did this recording. So again, by the time you see this, I don't know. They could have found the shooter. They could have. We don't know any of this information right now. So again, just bear with us on the facts. But again, the Bucks lose it, and now I'm going to make an awkward transition. The Bucks lose it to the Bulls, the rival Bulls, 96-89. First game in the Summer League. Tomorrow they suit up again at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Another divisional opponent, but it's a 2K25 Summer League. We will have more coverage for you. We'll keep it coverage for you. Always stay locked. Tell a friend about the Cream City crossovers. The Guru, Trey Crosby III.
Chris King.
Always giving you what you need to know right here at the Cream City crossover. We'll see you soon.